Welcome to the Valmika Property Investing Podcast. I'm JP, your host and the founder of Valmika Buyers Agency. With my background in investment banking, I'm here to share Wall Street tips and secrets for building a top 4% property portfolio. Let's dive into the world of property investment together. Welcome to another episode. This episode, we're going to be speaking about first home buyer strategies in Australia. This topic we're going to separate into 4 different categories. The first one is understanding the Australian landscape. That's got to do with the benefits that you get as a first home buyer, and it's a great place to start. Secondly, we're going to speak about the strategy to do with saving. That's all got to do with understanding the product first. That's the property that you're looking to purchase, and then how to go about saving to acquire that asset. Then we're going to speak about the various toolkit tips that we use at Valmika Buyers Agency, and we'll go into that in good depth. So let's get straight to it. Understanding the Australian landscape. Australia has got some good initiatives by the government that help first-time buyers acquire their assets. So traditionally, you would need to save, say, around 20% of the purchase price of the property as a deposit. That's if you want to avoid the LMI insurance, which can be pretty expensive. You can go up to 90%, but then anything over 80% gearing requires the LMI. However, for first home buyers, this is different. So these are the initiatives that the Australian government has given first home buyers, and they fall under 3 main categories. The first one is the first home guarantee. So this scheme, it helps eligible buyers purchase a property with only a 5% deposit. The government actually guarantees a portion of your loan, and this allows the lender's risk appetite to be satisfied and allow them to give you a loan with the lower deposit because of that government guarantee. So that's the first initiative. The second initiative is the First Home Super Saver Scheme. So what this is, again, for an eligible individual, it allows them to contribute voluntary superannuation contributions. But this is obviously up to a certain level. And this voluntary superannuation contribution can be put towards the purchase of their first home. So how does this benefit you? So these contributions are taxed concessionally. So this can provide significant savings for first home buyers. So it allows you to get that deposit up and running a lot quicker because of the tax benefits that it affords you. The third scheme is more state-based first home buyer grants. So certain states and territories in Australia, they offer additional financial incentives for first home buyers. And these range from stuff like stamp duty concessions or grants. So it's important to check what these additional savings are in your state. Okay, so once we understand this, we know that we traditionally have to save around up to 5% of the purchase price of the property. So where do we start when we look at getting your first property? First thing to look at is look for the actual properties so that you know how much that 5% that you need to save is, and if you can get funding for it. So a good place to start is location versus bricks. So what do I mean by that? So do you get a trendy inner city apartment that's close to the action of where you work and where you enjoy your social life? Or do you go a bit further out from the city for a larger property? So you need to establish that dilemma first. And it's all about considering the big picture. So you need to think about whether you'll be starting a family soon or if you are a long way away from starting the family. So you need to establish what your budget's going to be. So there's some basics around how to get your budget and how to track it properly. So it's all about tracking your spending. So every single dollar counts. So what I recommend to our first home buyers is they download a budgeting app, create a spreadsheet and track your income and expenses. So it helps you identify areas where you can cut back. Secondly, prioritize needs versus wants. A lot of the time, you purchase things that you don't need, where you can put that towards your savings to save up for their deposits. So be ruthless with your spending. Prioritize necessities and channel leftover funds into savings. I always encourage our customers to apply the 80-20 rule. So whatever your income is, you put 20% of it away straight away, and you make sure that you can survive on the 80. To do that, you have to make sacrifices. So you need to cut down on going out to restaurants or bars. You cut down on eating out at lunch when you're at work. Rather bring in your own food, your own, make sandwiches at home, so you don't have to spend money in going out at lunch. This all adds up. You'll be very, very surprised. Okay, so what are the saving strategies that we advise on? So set SMART goals. So set specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant time-bound goals. Put your target as your deposit, and you will see that the more you sacrifice, the quicker you'll get to that deposit. So put it in front of mind and give yourself a time frame so that it keeps you motivated. Secondly, use automated savings. So set up automatic transfers from your pay into high interest savings accounts. Out of sight, out of mind, no temptation to spend. The other ways to boost your savings. So the risk-free way to do it is obviously to put it into a fixed deposit or a high interest savings account, for example. But there are other ways to do it as well. And that is where, if you've got a bit of a longer term horizon where you're going to need to take a bit of time to accumulate that deposit, you can look at perhaps putting it into ETFs that track the indices in the stock market. Or if that's too risky for you, you could purchase commercial assets. For example, I've come across storage units that cost around $100,000 that have got a great yield. So you can put a relatively small deposit, get some financing on that, and get some accumulation of wealth for a large deposit going down the line for your first home. So there's different ways of saving. The other thing is consider a side hustle. With the progression and advancement with artificial intelligence, it's allowing a lot more people to get involved in freelancing and online gigs or a part-time job, and this can supercharge your savings. So every little bit counts. So we have what we call a buyer toolkit. And this is a toolkit that we apply to all our customers. And the first part of the toolkit is seek Australian expert advice. When you go to the doctor or when you're sick, you will go to a doctor. You're not going to make a self-diagnosis if you're really sick. So when you're going to purchase property, you're up against professionals. So that represent the seller. So that's the seller's agent. You've got the auctioneer. Why don't you get a expert on your side? In other words, get that doctor solution, that professional who's on your side. And we highly recommend going to a mortgage broker, making sure that you know what your pre-approval you can get. Go to a buyer's agent. They're able to advise you on the intricacies of the Australian market, prevent you from making mistakes by purchasing the wrong property, put you in the right suburb according to your goals in life, put you in the right property as well for higher growth, and allow you to avoid mistakes for buying bad property. It's well worth it. A lot of people have the notion that, oh no, we're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and save for deposit for a home loan. We can't afford a buyer's agent. However, the money that we've saved our clients far exceeds the fees that we charge, and it puts them on another level because it allows them to get their growth and acceleration a lot quicker by getting the right asset at the right price than if they did it on their own. Secondly, as I've already touched on, get pre-approval power. You know what you can spend once you get that pre-approval on your debt financing. Get this through a broker. They're professionals. They're able to get you the best rate by scouring over 50 lenders in the market. So use them. And that pre-approval power allows you to go into the market with confidence. The second confidence booster is research. Research like a true blue Aussie. Dive deep into property trends, research suburbs, and analyze comparable sale prices in your target area. If you don't have access to this or you don't have the time, buyers agents, this is our bread and butter. We are a data-driven buyers agency ourselves, and we are heavy into data, and this allows us to acquire property at great prices for our clients. It's been very successful. Negotiation essentials. So having the confidence around having your pre-approval, having the confidence about doing your research and your homework, that gives you the confidence to negotiate off a very strong base. Having that strong factual knowledge together with that negotiation skill that you can develop or outsourced from a buyer's agent gives you the confidence that you will get a good deal in the property and know when to walk away. Remember, patience is a virtue. Finding the perfect place does take time, so be patient, stay focused, and don't be afraid to walk away from properties that don't quite tick all the boxes. That's it for today's episode. I hope you found it insightful. I'm going to put links in the description of this podcast that take you to the website that gives you more detail on the Australian government initiatives for first home buyers. If you liked this episode, please leave us a like and a comment. It'll help us keep the lights on. See you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Valmika Property Investing Podcast. If you're interested in our services, please visit us at valmikaproperty.com. Remember, the content shared in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. For personalized financial advice, always consult your trusted financial advisor or professional. See you in the next episode.